Do it.
I thought you were doing it.
No, you're doing it. You're always doing it.
It's your turn. Tag.
Hello to everyone, and to the welcome to the Geeks Are Wired podcast, where we talk about, the video games, the TVs, the technology, the comic books, and the, Internet of Things. I'm an Anthony, and there's a Bill.
I'm a Bill.
He's the Bill. And if you'd like to contact us, you can do so at geeksarewired@gmail.com if you want to do the email. If you'd like to, talk or text, you can do that at 801-896-4335 or 801-896-GEEK. And you can also support us on Patreon if you'd like to. It would help us out a lot. You can, if you do that, you can get the podcast early.
And where do they do that at?
Patreon.com/geeksarewired.
Yay.
What are we talking about?
Coins.
What kind of coins?
Well, actually, before we talk about coins, I want to talk about the thing that is not forever.
Love? Diamonds?
Windows
Money?
10.
Oh. I mean, it's forever in that it'll be around forever, probably, just like people are running Windows 7 or Windows XP still.
Or 95, or 3.x, or DOS.
Usually the people that are running 95 or 98 are more for enthusiasts, though. Usually.
Well, you did say forever. Ever.
And then you also have some people who are running XP because they have software that won't run on anything else, and they're usually just connected from the internet. Yeah. They're very, very, very isolated as much as they can be.
Hey, DOS is free right now, so...
I mean, you can also get free DOS. And it basically does the same thing. So I'm sure there's some compatibility issues, but...
So you get free DOS, or you get DOS for free?
Yes.
Okay.
There's also DOSBox.
Ah.
Which will do a lot of it. But it's just emulation, so... But yeah, there's a Windows 11 now, even though that Microsoft said Windows 10 was Windows 10 forever.
The last number ever.
But Windows 11 will be a free upgrade if your PC can run it.
Correct.
Which apparently Microsoft hasn't been able to come up with a rhyme or reason on why some things are supported and some aren't, from what I've been hearing. Haven't read too much into it.
Correct.
Do you know more?
Some of it is...
I know some of it is that TPM module or something. Mm-hmm. TPM, I think, is what it actually is. Trusted Platform Module. Like, you have to have one, I think, to run Windows 11.
And there's also issues with Intel chips, why you have to have newer Intel chips versus...
How new? Is it like an instruction set that the newer ones have that the older ones don't?
I think they were saying Gen 7 is making the cut, while Gen 8 does it better.
Oh, virtualization technology.
And AMD just does it better. So this is the point where AMD works better with Windows than Intel does.
It's because AMD was trying to, so virtualization with Intel, they kind of tried to, if you got a lower gen or a lower model processor, they would hold out on some features. Usually not a lot, but I think a lot of it was hardware virtualization, which is what they're talking about here. And I think it looks like Windows 11 is using that for security purposes, which kind of makes sense to a point because you can basically wall off stuff if you have access to that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So you can essentially run it in a sandbox, which they've been able to do that for a while now, but it's not it's just been not been a true sandbox. Basically, all Windows has been able to do in the past is just be hey, if you need admin privileges, the user has to approve it. Whereas I think with this, they'll be able to be hey, you have this memory address, and you get these resources, that's it. You need more, you gotta ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's what they're doing because on Mac they do that like a heck terminal, which is the command prompt basically for Mac. If you want it, I had to actually give it access to my user folder. Like whenever I CD'd into it, like change directory into it, it was like came up with a pop-up. It was like, hey, would you like to give this program access to this folder?
Ah.
And then I eventually got tired of doing that, and I went into the settings and just gave it access to everything. Because that's what that app is supposed to do, so it made sense for that.
Nice.
But, yeah, what else were you saying for this?
So, apparently they're going to start releasing it in October?
They got betas out right now.
Yeah.
That you can actually run.
And if they can prove that the Gen 6s will work, they'll let Gen 6 Intels get it as well, but they're checking. So that's part of your thing of what is the rhyme or reason. They're figuring it out. Which is the other reason.
Feels like they should have known that before, but...
Yeah. And that, well, also if you go to their website, like, check to see if it works. Coming soon. Why? Because they don't know yet. And since it's going to be a free upgrade, they'll just let everyone deal with it in October.
Yeah, they also... I think the people who run the beta right now, there's like a little compatibility thing that gets ran.
Mm-hmm.
I think that crashes on some computers still.
Oh, awesome.
Like it'll blue screen your computer. Allegedly.
That reminds me, I forgot to check what version I have.
Of Windows?
No, Intel. I think I have an Intel chip.
You do. Because AMD, like when you bought your laptop, there were very few AMD, good AMD, like gaming laptops at least. They existed, but they were harder to find.
Which version it is? I'm going to have to go dig.
You
more
just
than I want to.
copy it. Copy that processor. Oh, that'll work too. And then I'd paste it in like Notepad and then just grab the model because you're going to look for, okay.
I'm going to look for all of it.
Yeah, that didn't work for you, did it? But you can copy the thing there.
You're saying...
I would just copy the i7-97 blah, 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 blah H thing that you have there. Yeah, that'll work. Copy that and just look for it.
Or you just click search. Still confused.
I'll just click on that top one.
Is it?
Yeah.
This seems like a lot of work.
I mean, you're not wrong, but there should be a generation on there somewhere. Generation. The point of the matter is, though,
I'm at 9th.
Is that people don't know what generation of processor they have because Intel doesn't really make that easy to find out unless you look it up. Yeah. Though I think that, what was your model again?
That's...
I think it's in the number. Like, I think it's i7 and then dash, and then I think the 9 is the gen right there.
I was thinking that too.
But I'm not positive.
I know, I'm not willing to, like, go, yeah! But good news, I can upgrade to Windows 11 one day.
Maybe.
For free.
Maybe.
It said that 7 was making the cut. That 8 was better. That means 9 is even better.
No, that's just the processor. You could have something. Do you have a TPM module? You probably do, actually, because I think you have EFI, and I'm pretty sure anything that has EFI does it, but, you know.
I don't know if I have a TPS report.
TPM. What's TPS? Ticks per second?
This is a TPS report.
Yeah, ticks per second.
It means you have to come in on Sundays and work.
Is that a thing for your work?
No, it's Office Space.
Oh.
The movie.
I don't think I watched that. I get that reaction a lot on stuff. I don't care anymore.
I feel like somebody's going to talk about that to me
probably.
Later.
It's whatever. My form of entertainment is mostly like not even in this area of the world anymore. Well, actually it is, but it's very far removed. I'm not your standard. Well, maybe I am now these days. I'm a hermit.
You're a young millennial.
I wouldn't say young.
Well, you're not a geriatric millennial like me.
That's fair. Maybe I am on the later side of the millennial. I think I am.
You're almost a Z.
When does Z start?
Estimately 2000.
I'm 8 years off from that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
8 years off.
Math. So,
Got the maths. Yes?
I'm hoping they also get this resolved, because unless the chip issue gets resolved by October, all this is going to do is add to the issues. Well,
it's just going to it's going to add to the issues anyways.
I guess
If Windows can't reliably update Windows 10 as it is right now, they haven't been able to do that since it came out.
True.
And they've had like 5 years. 6, actually, I think. Because I think it came out in 2015.
Something like that. Been a while, but...
Yeah.
And I forgot. I'm usually one of the first people to jump on this. Actually, I was kind of looking at ways to get into the beta testing. But I was going like...
If you get into the beta testing...
Don't use my...
No, you can use it, but you put it in like a... what version of Windows do you have? Is it Home or 10?
I think it's Home.
Or I meant Pro. Home or Pro.
I knew what you meant. That's what I said.
If you don't... Okay, if you have Pro, then I would enable Hyper-V and use that. If you don't, then like... I don't know. Put it on... Well, I'd say put it on an older laptop, but you can't because it probably won't run it.
That's a good question. I might have a 7. Actually, I might have one that's on the cusp with a Gen 7 chip in it.
Also, your old desktop probably would work too.
I think my old desktop's an AMD. And I think my old laptop's an AMD also.
Well, your old desktop would probably run it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I have an old APU, like a APU A10 or whatever, that was slow with Windows 8, which is what it came with.
Yeah.
And it was even slower with Windows 10 until you put an SSD in it, which is just mind-boggling. But yeah, Windows 11 is the new Windows 10. I wonder if they did that because of Mac. Because Mac went from 10 to 11, finally. Because Microsoft was on the bandwagon of 10 is the last edition.
They have also been sick and tired of doing these micro updates, and they're
still going to be doing micro updates.
Well, this way they may be able to get that connection, because Windows 10 they had made so much with it that any miniature version of it for like netbooks or tablets or teeny tiny computers was always this like really bad version of Windows 10, while with the Windows 11 they may be able to do a lot more prepping up, so it's not so need to power hungry machine to run it properly, but will run well on a lot of things.
I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
it's like with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. They could have just done that, just been like, hey, this is Windows 10.1. Because it essentially is kind of doing the same thing.
You mean it would have been Windows 101?
That's terrible. No.
That's exactly what it would have been, and that's exactly the jokes that would come out.
All right, fine. 10.2. Okay, how about 10.01? Can you make any jokes about that, huh? I don't think they would have numbered it 10.01.
I'm thinking. The 101 was pretty awesome.
Or what about Windows X1?
Yeah, then people will have really been confused whether you have a Windows machine or an Xbox machine.
I mean, people are going to be confused anyways and be like, hey, can this computer run 11? We don't know. Try to update and see what happens. Oh, it's bricked. Well, guess you got to get a new one.
Yeah.
Which is probably what some people will do. Heck, I'd probably do that now too, actually.
Probably what some people should do.
Yeah, that's actually right. I probably would do it. I'd be like, well, I need a new one anyways. Bye. even though it's really bad for the environment. But
I know.
It's one reason why I don't like to recycle stuff. Like, I like recycling stuff, but like electronics, I usually don't because I'm pretty sure most of the time it's just going to go in a landfill. And I'd rather keep it and actually, still use it from time to time.
Mm-hmm. So, have you looked at their website on what Windows 11 looks like?
No, but I've seen videos. They put the... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say they put the taskbar stuff in the middle, which a lot of people hate, but when you have an ultra-wide monitor setup like I do, having it way over to the left is just dumb. Because you got to go, whoop. I got to crane my neck all the way over to the left to access the start menu.
That's why you divide your screen up on your ultra-wides.
Super ultra-wide.
Then you extra divide it.
Doesn't matter. I'm still going to have a taskbar over here. Even if you divide it, you got a screen here. Like, if I divide it in two, because it's basically two 27-inch puts together,
mm-hmm.
I'll have a taskbar that's here where I can look a little bit to the right and see it. But then the other one, which I usually like to put my primary one on the left anyways,
mm-hmm.
because order.
I understand.
I'm still going to have to crane my neck all the way over there to see it. And I'd rather put I only put it in dual monitor mode on my Windows whenever I'm usually gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I like to have it in just like one mode because I can put stuff in the middle easier that way. Because there's no bezel now, it doesn't matter, but the snapping works better that way. And a lot of people hate it. Like, you can fix it, and for a laptop, I could understand why people would rather it be on the left like normal, but for a super ultra wide, like if they can put in a mode, like a toggle to where, like, if you have an aspect ratio bigger than like 16 by 10 or 16 by 9, which is your standard sizes, like your monitors are probably 16 by 9. 16 by 9 is like 1080.
Mm-hmm.
16 by 10 is, I think my MacBook is actually 16 by 10, and it might actually be 16 by 10.
These might too, because I don't think these are 1080.
No, they're probably 1440, which is still 1080. Which is still 16 by 9. Well, yeah, just go to your screen. Yeah, no.
Wrong one.
Yep.
I know. As soon as I clicked it.
And then just take your, I'm pretty sure that's 16 by 9, but you could, if you divide the height by the width, it's like 2550 by...
That didn't click.
2550 by 1440, I think is what it is. Or is it 2560? I can't see from here.
2560.
On 1.7, which I think is 16 by 9.
Oh.
I think.
I don't know. You're asking a lot of math.
16 divided by 9. Yeah. So you have a 16 by 9. But anyways, if they had like a little toggle that was like, if you have an aspect ratio bigger than this, center the taskbar. If you have it smaller than that, then left align it.
I got a better idea.
What?
Just let me choose.
No, they do let you choose.
No, not just go, if it is this, just set here. Just let me, I want it on the left, I want it on the center, I want it on the right. I want it, it's the same thing as
still
setting.
Let you choose. Like, that's a configurable setting.
Okay.
It just defaults to the center.
Okay.
You can move it, though.
So you're saying it should default to what is your monitor size?
Well, I'm saying that should be an option.
Okay.
Just because...
I'm sure it's during setup.
Maybe. But I like having it in the center because I actually have, like, if I were to connect to my workspace that I have for work,
mm-hmm.
I have it set up in the center. Like, I installed a taskbar, I think it's called Taskbar X, which does that. Because, one, when I got the super ultra wide, it was just because, again, didn't want to crane my neck all the way over to the left to use it.
But don't you crane your neck all the way to the right to look at all the stuff?
No, because most of the time I usually have like 2/3 of it, my RDP, and then I usually have Teams over on the last bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, about the pop-up stuff.
What about it?
Don't you have to crane your neck all the way to the right to see all the little task items?
You mean the things I ignore?
Yeah, probably. What do you think of the new thing to ignore that they included?
I mostly don't notice it because it doesn't show up on my work one because I think it's very out of date, but that's neither here nor there. And I rarely turn on my Windows computer at home now, because it's usually either for gaming or if I need to do stuff that needs a little more RAM than what my MacBook has, which is not often. So, yeah, I think having the weather there is nice. And if they didn't have it automatically pop up, I think it would just go unused. But at the same time,
I wish it wouldn't automatically pop up, because I would even click on the little up arrow and that would pop up. I'm like, I literally don't want you right now.
Oh, like it would pop up because you were close to it?
Well, no, just clicking that, just little up arrow to get all the tasks that are up and running. It will pop up. I have had it pop the big Windows thing up on me.
And how it takes. Another annoying thing is how long it took to load.
Yes.
Like, it should not, like, if they're going to put something there, it should not take that long to load. It's like the Xbox menu all over again.
Yeah. Actually, I'm surprised it still has sports on it. I actually told Microsoft I don't like sports. I'm not into sports.
So, they want you to be into sports.
Apparently. They want me to be into the Bucks and the Hawks. I don't even know who the Bucks and the Hawks are.
It's okay. My Google feed, like, if the Google app, that how if you just open it, it'll come up with a search bar and then a bunch of articles.
Yeah.
If I go all the way down to the bottom and I click on more stories, and if I go all the way down to the bottom of that, usually the last 2 or 3 stories are sports.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, though, because it's all the way at the bottom.
Okay.
All the way at the bottom. And it's nice to keep somewhat updated on it for, I don't know. Like, I never click on them, but the article names are usually enough.
Yeah. True.
But, yeah, the look, though, otherwise than that, it sounds like they're bringing back Aereo to a point, which is what Vista was known for, the glassy look, which is what Aereo is. And, like, that one's just frosted, so it's not as much, but, like, the screenshot.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly frosted, which I like to a point. I would hope they can... I imagine they will actually let you adjust the transparenciness, like the opaqueness, just for accessibility reasons. Because if you have it too opaque, like even me, if it's not too opaque, actually, if it's not opaque enough, it's hard to read stuff.
Yeah.
Because like when it's just slightly frosted, depending on what's underneath it, it can blend in too much with what's ahead on top, and so you need to frost it more. But that's what this is all doing. I do like the snapping features they've added.
Yeah, like
that's kind
instead of just a left, right, and 4 corners, there's also a center option.
Yeah, which you can do like this one. By this one, I mean it's I'm pointing at it, but
large center.
What it is yeah, it's a large center,
sides.
And then you have 2 smaller sides. So it's like you basically have quarter, and then half in the middle, essentially. I think it's a little more than half. Yeah, that's actually. The one above it is the one I was talking. No, actually, that's just thirds.
The one above it is divided into thirds.
Yeah.
The top center one is you can do the top center one currently, but you have to manually shift it. Once you divide your screen into 2, you have to have your mouse in the center between them, and then you can drag it over.
Yeah, and I forget that's a thing because it'll actually it puts like a divider there, and if you drag it, it'll actually drag the other one with it.
Yep.
Which is kind of a cool feature, and that actually came from Windows 8.
Oh, wow.
A little bit, but only certain, I think only in the Metro apps supported it, which that used to be a thing. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember the big, huge calculator? They had 2 calculator apps. They had a Metro style and a normal style. The Metro style was just huge.
I remember that, yeah. And the rest of them, divide your screen in half, left and right, left and top and bottom, or 4 corners. You can currently do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can do all this, actually, because Microsoft does have a program called, Power Toys, which you can install. That'll let you kind of mimic this. You can put these styles up, these different styles, and you can actually make custom ones. And you can either have them show up all the time, or I think I had mine show up if I held down Shift. If I was dragging the window and then I held down Shift, it would show up the partitions, which I actually prefer. Because with this, I think you have to hover over something to get it to show up, but...
I'm hoping they make a keyboard shortcut like it currently is. Windows arrow key.
You can do keyboard shortcuts with the quarter one.
No, like I said, okay, so the halves, the half and quarter or quarters, you can keyboard shortcut all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you snap it over to the on the side, if you press up or down, it'll actually adjust it to the proper spot, to the proper corner.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but at that third one, those 3 apps, I'm kind of interested on how they would keyboard shortcut those.
I don't know that they can.
I'm worried because that means I'll never use it. Ever.
It might show up like if you... Well, they might have a specific one where you are like...
I know. Well, I guess we'll find out how that works.
You know what I do hope they fix, though? You ever, especially whenever you used to... This happened to me all the time when I used to actually go to work and then come home and sometimes remote in to work on something.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You would remote in and you'd click on, say, like an IDE, like a code IDE, and you could see it maximize back up and down when you'd click on it, but it'd go to a screen that doesn't exist.
Yep.
And usually the way to fix it is to either close it, or if you maximize it back up and you hold down, like you use the shortcut keys to get it moved over to the other monitor, sometimes that'll work. Sometimes it won't.
Sometimes you have to restart.
Yeah. And I've had that and actually I've had that happen in the same session where like I disconnected my RDP, came back into it. It was nowhere to be found, even though the screen arrangement didn't change.
Okay, that wasn't the one I thought you were doing. I thought you were talking about like remoting in, or even when you plug into from your laptop to multiple monitors.
It'll just rearrange everything.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, come on.
Yeah,
I just want you
bad about that.
to go back to the locations I set you up on.
Mac remembers. Like, it'll rearrange whenever you, like, unconnect it back just to go back to your laptop.
They didn't used to. They got good at that. They only started doing that
I'm not saying they've always been like that, because that's not something that a lot of people had to worry about before or think about. But especially in the last year or two, especially in the last year, that's something that people have to think about a lot.
Last year, definitely. But I heard about people complain about Apple's, I think, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've only really paid attention to it in the last, like, year. In the last year, because that's usually, like, most of the time, because I've had Macs for, like, it's 5-6 years now, but they usually were never connected to a monitor, or if they were, it was usually to present, and I needed to rearrange stuff anyways, so I never noticed.
Yeah, if I ever connected to present, it was the screen I'm showing everybody, and then the screen that I'm not.
It depends. Sometimes I'd mirror it, but most of the time I wouldn't.
Oh, no, I don't. I despise mirroring.
I do it sometimes, like, especially because, like, sometimes it's hard to...
I guess if you're looking over your shoulder, like at stuff.
Or looking over your shoulder, or if you're actually like doing stuff actively to where you actually need like good coordination, because sometimes the screen's just too far away to actually see what you're doing.
True.
Which kind of brings the question of what you're presenting. Is it even useful to people? Sometimes, but sometimes the content doesn't necessarily matter. Like the exact what you're doing doesn't matter. It's just the motions, but you still need to see what you're doing yourself so you can actually do the motions.
Actually, you know, it'll be great when you upgrade to Windows 11. IE won't be installed anymore.
No, there'll be Edge.
I don't care on that. No, I have both of them right now.
Yeah, I know. So do I. I have Edge on my Mac.
And Edge is whatever. Edge is fine, but I want IE like gone. But it's still too baked in.
I don't know. It might be gone. They might give you an option to install it.
No. If it was installed, if you didn't
Here's
have
what you
a
do.
fresh install.
When you get Windows 11, do a fresh install.
Yeah.
You can pick the European one to install.
Ooh. And then I will just have Brave.
Yeah. I think you can do that.
Actually, how do I install a browser if I don't have a browser?
I don't know.
Okay.
Europe knows how to do it, apparently.
Okay.
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe I'll figure it out.
Or maybe it doesn't come pre-installed, but like it has like a little option to be like, you look for Internet Explorer, it comes up, and there's like, you need to download this. Would you like to install it? Yeah, because I need to install other stuff.
I need a browser so I can...
I need a browser so I can get another browser.
Reasons to use, i.e. download other browsers.
That's the new start menu, though. What do you think of it?
It kind of looks like the current one.
It reminds me more of Windows 8.
I mean,
but with the far less
there.
tiles.
Yeah, less tiles, but...
And I actually kind of like the current start menu because I can pin stuff. I get rid of everything that they put there by default, and then I just pin my own stuff. Mostly because I do this on my work one a lot because the search just doesn't work. If I search for something, it just sits there.
Yeah, I have two things on here that I actually didn't. I thought I got rid of most of it, but yeah, I usually end up editing the pinned items a lot.
Yours is a lot more chaotic than I thought it would be. I don't know why I'm surprised though, giving it to you.
I gotten rid of a bunch of stuff. Honestly, I don't even use it most of the time. That's what the start or the address or the bar is for.
Yes, I agree to a point, but like I don't want my snipping tool down there all the time. And I know there's a hotkey for it, but I use my
print screen.
No, if you do Windows Shift S, it'll bring up the snipping tool. But my Mac overrides that when I RDP in, and I like using the Mac one anyways, but occasionally I want to use the Windows one so I can highlight stuff easier.
I see. Well, and also anything else I need, I'll just hit start and start typing. What do I want? Do I want to play Rust? Hit start.
That's the part that doesn't work.
Rust.
That's the part that doesn't work for me on my work one. Which is annoying. Very annoying, actually. Yeah. But if I use everything, which is a little like search program that indexes, like if you hit like Windows space or command space on a Mac, for example, it'll come up with like a little search bar. It comes up with it's called Spotlight, and I have something installed that overrides it, so it brings up something called Alfred instead, which is a lot more powerful and extendable. But
nice.
That's what everything basically is, and it'll just look for like files and stuff. And
I feel like Windows has an add-on that somebody built that does something along that.
They do. There's an add-on. I don't remember what it's called. I used to have it installed, but
I'm happy with the way it works right now.
I mean, I would be too if it worked for me.
True. It works for me.
Yeah, it works for me and everything else. That's the first time I've had it not work. I've had it not work sometimes, but not consistently like that.
Yeah,
it's just never worked for me. Ever since I got
that's even how.
Ever since I got that VM, it's never worked.
I don't even really need the calculator installed anymore because start menu, start typing your equation out, and ta-da! Answer.
Yeah, mine Alfred does that. Though it doesn't calculate, like it won't do square roots. I've noticed, unless I'm just doing it wrong. Will yours do square root? Type SQRT. Parenthesis. Do 144 and then parenthesis.
I'm typing the wrong one somehow.
It doesn't matter. I just gave you a number that I knew would calculate to something.
Let's see. Which one? 144?
Yeah, are you doing parentheses?
No, you actually can't do parentheses. I tried to do open parentheses, and it slapped a close parenthesis on it. I was like, how about I just type a space 144? So I do SQRT space 144, 12.
SQRT 144. No, that doesn't work for me.
Do you put a space in there?
I can enable it, though. Yeah.
Okay.
I could enable something like that, though. Like, there's a thing that I can buy called, like, Power Tools or whatever for Alfred, which gives you a lot more stuff, which I probably will buy eventually just because I like the app and I want to support them, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
All right. So, Windows 11. Yay.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Maybe it'll be good.
I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, I might be. I don't know. I'm not going to upgrade immediately, I don't think, just because, I don't know. The Windows upgrades usually don't go all that well. Like, I'll do it with Mac. Like, as soon as the official thing's out, I'll usually upgrade, but with Windows, like, I've had too many, like, I've been burned too many times by, like, even just, like, normal rolling updates on Windows 10. They'll just break your computer or something, part of your setup randomly.
I guess I just have luck with it then.
Well, I had like a thing, like a MIDI, MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a slider thing for controlling levels and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got it all set up and everything, and then an update happened, and it just like I had it set up to control like my application sounds like individually.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have like Discord up all the way at some points, and then I could have my music like all the way down. Like you can do that by just going into the sound mixer and doing it yourself, but being able to like do it manually, but being able to do it on like a physical device and see where the level is without having to click into something is just a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Anyways, updated, broke that. It actually, I think, broke a lot more stuff too, actually.
Yeah.
And I think I had to roll back or whatever, but yeah. So I'm probably not gonna, I don't know, where I don't use that computer all that much, I might upgrade anyways, but it looks pretty at least.
I'll admit, it does.
Also, do you like the new Teams icon? That thing in the middle is a Teams.
Oh, I thought it was Trello. Oh, are you talking the camera thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because right next to it, is that Trello?
No, I think right next to it, on your taskbar, you see how you have Windows, Search, Cortana, and then you have that thing to the next of it? Nope. On the left. On the left.
I got to choose something real quick. That's weird. All right.
You had it on Spanish.
That was weird. Okay, to the left. How left am I going? Oh, this thing.
Yes, that's what that is.
Task viewer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Well, so go back to it. Go back to it.
I don't want to.
I'll do it. If you click on your desktop, that's how you do virtual desktops. It's at the top left.
Oh.
So click it.
And then but how do I get back?
I'll show you.
There's a keyboard shortcut.
Yep, and then click into it. Click into one of them. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Clicked into it. It's all gone now.
And then do Control Windows left right, I think is what it is. Yeah, that's how you get to them.
And we're
I used
back.
to use that a lot.
I used to also. There's also a keyboard shortcut to create one. It's like
I know.
The Windows Control N, I think.
I don't use it all that often. Usually what I would use it for is just to put all my consoles onto one screen and then go back over to where I was.
I used to use it a lot. I had big jumping projects would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, back on when I was on Windows 7, I used it a ton. Like I installed a custom one that I could actually like. Mm-hmm. I knew all the keyboard shortcuts for to where I could like hold down certain buttons and actually move the thing with it, like move the window over to that one.
Yeah.
It was nice. I haven't been near that productive on 10.
Mm-hmm. That happens.
Because I don't know what the shortcut keys are, and I haven't bothered to look them up because after a while, like if you don't use the workspaces for a lot, like the virtual ones, you kind of forget where everything is.
Yeah,
and another annoying thing is like if you open up, like if you had Notepad++ open on like Workspace 3, but you're on Workspace 1, and you open up something that opens up in Notepad++, it'll jump all the way over there, which makes sense to a point, but it's very jarring, at least to me. I don't like it. I'd rather it like, I don't know. I know why it does it. It makes sense, but I don't like it personally. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about this? Or do you want to go to coins now?
Coins.
Okay, what about coins?
Shiny. Coins are shiny.
Okay, but why? Why shiny?
Because they're not real.
Do they shine bright like a diamond?
No, they shine bright like... but they shine bright like coins, which you should give to your Witcher.
I need to finish that game. I replayed it like a month ago. No, 2 months ago. Got to about as far as I got before I quit.
I feel like the new season's getting ready to come out.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of stuff that's coming out. It's awesome. Rick and Morty came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched the last couple of seasons. I wanted to, but...
I thought they were going to put it straight to HBO. So it kind of threw me off when it was on Comedy Central. Or not Comedy Central, Cartoon Network first.
Oh, was it still? How do you watch it?
Well,
or can you watch it on Hulu?
Actually, now it's HBO.
Oh.
HBO owns the rights to Rick and Morty.
I can't keep up.
And Hulu doesn't I don't think Rick and Morty fell under the Hulu thing like who was it? South Park did, but South Park also jumped to HBO anyways.
Well, I feel like Rick and Morty was on Hulu because I think that's how I watched it at some point.
They were, then they lost it, and I know the last season I bought as they came out. I was like, they'll just buy them. I want to watch them. So as they came out, I got them. The current one, I honestly didn't find out it had come out till like a couple of days ago. So I'm like, oh, I might.
I got the notification for it last week. It would be like, hey, this is starting in an hour, which means it's probably starting right now, knowing TV time. But
yeah,
that used to be an issue at least.
I think I got an ad on the 3rd saying that it started on the 20th. I'm like, thanks.
Like the 3rd of, or you got it on the 3rd of July and it started on the 20th of June?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that seems a little late.
Not necessarily.
I guess
telling you.
Yeah.
Plus, that means you got a couple of episodes you can watch at once instead of having to wait every single week.
True.
Which is, I enjoy but also hate at the same time because it gives you time to think about what's going to happen next. If it's that kind of show. If it's just episodic, then it's whatever. But
yeah.
A lot of shows these days aren't episodic, though. They have a storyline overall. Right? There's not a lot of episodic shows anymore, is there?
So there can be episodic, because like that's the thing is like even South Park is still episodic, but they also,
I meant like newer stuff, like brand new stuff, not something that's been out for 20 years.
Well, South Park even stopped being super episodic. They started having overarching themes for a season or even a couple seasons.
Yeah, it makes making episodes easier.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Because you don't have to be like, okay, what random thing are we doing this time? Okay, well, we have this major storyline that we are somewhat following. We can throw in these little random things here and there.
Yeah.
And we just progress the plot as it goes. Whereas if it's just completely random, like Scooby-Doo was, for example, you just got to be like, okay, what are they doing this time? What mask are they pulling off? What mask are they not pulling off? Do they do anything this time? So, yeah.
I watch too much Netflix also. I don't think I get into a lot of the episodic stuff. Whatever's episodic is probably the current Friends, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, whatever show that's the super popular thing on TV.
They also did like a prequel to Big Bang Theory, didn't they?
Sheldon. It's currently on.
I don't like Big Bang Theory.
I used to.
I've never liked it.
It got further than I ever thought. I thought it was too nerdy for most people.
I think that's why I don't like it, because I feel insulted.
Yeah, and I've heard that too.
Because it's like they're making fun of my culture, and not in a way that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like they're doing it in a way that, and this makes sense for a TV show because like they got to appeal to masses. And so they're like doing it in such a way that like people will understand. That this is, and I think they still use a laugh track, don't they?
Yes, they do.
I hate laugh tracks.
I didn't notice it for the longest time. That one and
I can stand it in older shows.
Oh, I can't anymore. I used to be okay with it. Now it's nails on chalkboard. I'm just like,
I understand. The only reason why I think I'm okay with it on older shows is because that was just the time period. That's how stuff was. And I actually I think they do it on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the live action one. I think, but I'm okay with it because I watched it and it was like that, and I was little and I didn't know any better, and so it just doesn't. That's just part of the show for me.
Actually, I might be able to get away with that. Yeah, maybe I might be able to tune it up.
And mostly because Salem is the whole show.
Yeah.
If Salem wasn't on there, the show just wouldn't be any good.
True.
Everybody loves a talking cat. At least I do. Mostly because he's very
snarky.
Well, he's very snarky, but he's also like, that's just how people he's the most realistic, even though he's a cat.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one that you can actually relate to a point.
Yeah.
Because he used to be a witch who could do magic, but now he's a cat who can't do magic, but knows about it.
Yeah.
And so all he can do is just lounge around, cause mischief, and talk about world domination, even though he's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Back on the coins.
Yeah, coins. I don't know how we got
the cryptic ones.
Yes, the cryptic ones.
Yes.
What about them?
So you were asking about... Oh, yeah. It was... Okay, so NFTs. And
Those aren't coins.
Those are not coins. Those are the other cryptic things, though.
Yes, the other cryptic things, which I don't understand.
Things, which you use coins, that the coins are the background of your cryptic thing, which is your thing.
I don't understand. I don't get it. It hurts me.
Well, what you do is you have imaginary stuff that supports imaginary things, which is in your imagination, and it all gets wrapped up in a Wonka bar.
A Wonka bar or a golden ticket?
A Wonka bar. Golden ticket may or may not be included.
So if you buy a spammy one, it's the golden ticket. And by the golden ticket, I mean it's not even a chocolate bar. Because you don't get it.
It is.
Because you don't get anything because it's scammy.
In your imagination.
I mean, it's all in your imagination. It's just, the scammy ones are not, like, at least with the NFTs, there's like a perceived idea of it being real because you have maybe something. But with the scammy ones, it's just gone.
Okay, what scammy one? What
I don't know. I've just
about?
heard that there's a lot of, like, people have been getting scammed on with NFTs a lot, actually. I don't know how, but it's just stories that I've heard. I don't have enough to back this up.
I was like, you're going to have to explain this because, okay, what I have is this almost sounds like the scary internet and the scary
it very
net.
well could be. And it's one of the reasons why I won't do the NFT is like, this is me being an old man, not wanting to understand this because I just don't get it. But it's also like, I'm okay not understanding it because it's not actually like hurting me, which again is an old man argument because someone could argue that not knowing how to use the internet isn't hurting you either. And in some cases it might not, but not knowing how to use it can also open you up to being scammed a lot, which is why elderly people are. But that's because they're using the internet. But if I don't use the NFTs at all, I can't get scammed. Potentially.
But
right?
But can an old person not use the internet at all?
That's not my argument, though.
You don't know, but you're saying that if you don't use NFTs, you're safe from them.
Because I don't have to use them.
Yes.
I can get by without using them.
At this point
in
time.
You're right.
But when you're an old man who still don't understand it.
At that point, and if NFT, like, I'm pretty sure if I get to that point, I'll understand it.
Does an old person understand that, or do all old people understand? Do all people? I don't need old people. Do all people understand the internet?
No.
Can you not use the internet?
Technically, yes. But realistically, in most cases, no. That's not my argument.
Yeah, no. If you use a credit card, you're using the internet. Even
indirectly, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it is impossible to not use the internet.
Yeah, that's why I was saying in most cases, you're correct. I could think of a couple of ways where you couldn't, but you'd basically have to be off-grid or in a city where, and by city, I mean probably like in a developing country. Yes, there's internet there, but you could actually get by without actually using it. Realistically.
It is plausible.
It is plausible because...
It is nothing that many people want to do.
It's not want to do, it's just more of a...
We want our convenience. We want the convenience.
Yeah, basically.
That it provides. All right, so NFTs.
Yes, NFTs.
Are... All right, let's even step back further. Coins. Crypto coins.
Crypto coins.
Are a representation of an item, of a currency, of a coin. It has value because...
People say it does.
Yes, just like real things. Like, let's say you're on an island.
Mm-hmm.
All by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this Actually, yeah, and you have this vending machine. You can push one of the buttons on this vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
And first day there,
Mm-hmm.
you walk up the vending machine. You're like, well, what is there? Well, there's water, there's a sandwich, and there's bars of gold. All right. What is actually worth the most in that vending machine?
Either the water or the food.
No, the bars of gold are worth the most, period.
No,
No.
you didn't clarify.
Yeah, no, perceived. No, I said, no, I did. It's very specific. Not worth most to you. I said, what is worth the most? Not what's worth the most to you at this moment. What is physically worth the most in that vending machine? The bars of gold.
If you're talking monetarily speaking, yeah.
Yeah. What is worth the most to you at that moment? That's a different question.
Depends on what aspect.
Day one on the island.
That doesn't matter.
You get a gallon of water, a sandwich,
It all depends
or
on
a bar of
on the
gold.
context. If you asked me what is worth more to me,
Now, I didn't say what was worth more to you the first time.
Okay, what is worth more? I would be like, okay, do you mean what is worth more to me, or what's worth more if this were to be for sale?
No, I didn't say to you though. Like
I know
just
that, but I
physical
would have
value.
asked that.
Okay, physical value. What is worth
Physical
more?
value, the gold.
Yes.
Maybe.
No. There's no maybe on that.
No.
Gold.
As of right now, sure.
Yes.
Maybe later in the future, when there's like a replicator or whatever, maybe gold, and it can only replicate inorganic stuff.
True.
Then gold probably isn't as valuable. Whereas this sandwich, okay, the water is also inorganic, so it would technically be replicatable too. But then you get into whatever.
All right. So physically, absolute worth the most is the gold.
Monetarily speaking, yes.
But you're on an island by yourself, and you only get push that button once a day.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most important thing to you?
Either the water or the food.
Yeah, exactly.
And depending on how easy it is for me to build a fire, probably the food.
Yeah.
Because you could desalinate the water a little bit. Or if there's a spring.
Mm-hmm. So, depending on how much water
But
you get
maybe
up.
I could use the gold bar as a weapon to protect myself. So maybe it is more important.
Maybe.
How big is this gold bar?
A standard
Like
bar.
something you'd find in a bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you see in the movies. When you see stacks of gold, that bar right there.
Okay, the size. We'll go with the size. Because the stuff you see in the movies is probably spray painted.
True.
Either wood or styrofoam.
Yeah, no, they got to move it, so it's not rocks.
Could be rocks. It could be a hollow rock.
So,
Probably not.
that is why... So, having the worth to the coins.
I understand that. I understand the coins to a point. Also, just because real money's like that too. It
the bank does
has
not...
value because it's perceived to have value.
And also, the bank doesn't have all your money in the bank.
No, but it's supposed to have a good chunk of it.
I think
Well,
it's like a quarter of it, maybe. Under American laws.
yeah. So that you can't do a run on the bank
Yeah.
as much.
So, now we have coins.
Yep,
Now,
coins.
saying on the coins, NFTs. NFTs initially were a digital representation of a video, a picture, or something along those lines. It has evolved way past that now. I liked your idea with NFTs so this is a one specific copy of the item.
Mhm.
What would be great with this is games and movies.
Games,
and
movies, music, anything that has DRM.
Yeah. Basically it is. It's DRM built in because this is super identifiable and trackable. So which means I go and buy my song. They go, here's your song. It is yours. We cannot take it away from you. And unless you lose it
Or sell it.
Because
this would theoretically let you sell it.
yes, then it is physically mine. And which goes back, like you said, now I bought this game. This is my game. I can now resell this game.
Mm-hmm. Brings a secondhand market to digital stuff, which mostly doesn't exist at all. There are some exceptions.
Yes. So this could create. this also goes with what I was
This could also create it very, very generically too.
Yeah.
Not have to rely on the same service that you bought it from.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Which should also be way more trustworthy too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, transparent. Basically, you're not going to lose access to it if the service, like, if you bought like a Nintendo Wii game, for example, and Nintendo shuts their servers down, which has already happened, but you won't lose access to it. Like if you never downloaded it,
and that's
you
where
just won't have
where
it.
DeFi comes in, decentralized finances. So that's where everybody works on the same thing.
Yeah, and I could get around, like I could get behind that, and if NFTs eventually go to that, or if they evolve into that, because that's essentially what they are anyways, then I'd be okay with it, and I actually would be 100% behind this, because it would make owning stuff digitally somewhat worthwhile again. Well, actually, just worthwhile at all.
It'd be worthwhile. It'd be like owning a physical CD, or
it'd be less so, just because I think still owning something physically means more, just because, especially for someone who has an issue with out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
You know it exists at least. Like, I can actually see it. If we can get to the point where AR can be like, you can see stuff at least, then it might be okay.
I see. Yeah.
Or have an assistant that's like, hey, you have this thing. Did you forget about it? No. Yes.
Maybe. So back on the, you can lose this thing. So that's where you were talking about being scammed. Then that's what has been identified, is that the people are going to their location where their NFT is stored, and it's not there. And here's the real world equivalent. And say you're really, really stupidly rich, and you go to the auction and you buy your painting from this place. Well, along with your painting comes its storage in its temperature-controlled, humidity-controlled thing for all of time and eternity. One of those super expensive, secretive places that you see in like all the spy movies.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Basically a vault.
Yeah, it basically is. So you have bought this painting, and you have bought the rights of it being stored in this vault and being protected. Well, it can still get broken into. It can still get stolen. It can still get burned to the ground.
Or it could also just never have been there.
Ooh.
And you may not, like, that's what I thought you were going with.
It could be. It could have not been there. It could have. You saw it, and it just shifted off to a different location. Never made it to its storage location.
Yeah, and unless you actually checked, which, let's be honest, if you bought a painting like that and you bought something like that, you may have just bought it for investment purposes anyways.
Yeah.
And so you may have not actually cared about it, which in that case, I think you get what you deserve, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Because you bought a piece of art that you're not letting people enjoy.
And so with the NFTs going missing, this is where people are going. Some people are promising storage for all of time and eternity. Well, let's think about this. No, not that realistic. No, just not going to happen. At least not with our current technology. So
I don't think it'll ever, like, everything, in order for that to happen, even with any technology, I think it would have to be it'd have to be decentralized in some way.
Yeah.
Whether that be it actually just exists in the ether or whatever. Like, it's not like you don't have a physical server somewhere. It's just replicated everywhere. Like, it's basically a redundancy system that just, there's little pieces or parodies of it everywhere. Which I think we'd have a long way to go before we got there. But
that's, yeah. And but also the other thing, so also with like, was it Charlie Bit My Finger? When the NFT of it was sold, a lot of people are like, well, you just bought the video. No, that's something else. Is NFTs aren't just the, this one single representation of it. It's also a deed. This is the deed to your house. This is the deed to
that's
Charlie
the part
Bit
I
My
don't necessarily understand, especially with a YouTube like viral video. Just because
the creator who owned the rights to this sold the deed.
But there's copies of it everywhere.
There's copies to it everywhere. But it's like music. It's like everything else. Yes, the music is out there. Everyone's listening to it, but somebody owns it. So the creator of Charlie Bit My Finger gave up the rights to the production and the use of this video by selling it to somebody else. They just happen to have...
But they sell little pieces of it to a bunch of people, whereas, at least with music, there is someone who owns the main rights to it.
Technically, the video is the same thing. They own the main rights to this video.
Who?
The creator.
Yes, but they literally sold it off, though.
They did, with the NFT, correct.
Which is different from music, where you still, like, if your publishing company is Sony, even though you, like, if I publish music and you buy it, you own a piece of it, the main person who owns it is still Sony.
Yes. So what happens?
Will usually always be Sony unless it's transferred.
But that's the other thing. So that is what. So then Sony takes the original ownership of the song, and they sell it off to somebody else. So now that person gets to make profit off of this song.
Mm-hmm.
That is all that happened with Charlie Bit My Finger. That's all that happened. That's another way that NFTs is they are the deed to the
it's
item.
So different. Like, I get
Why is it different?
I get your analogy, but like, because let's say you have like 1,000, like a 1% ownership of it.
Okay.
What can you do with that 1% ownership of it besides selling it to someone else? Like selling that piece.
Even like stocks or DAOs. You actually are walking into decentralized autonomous organizations.
But how? How am I walking into that?
Because decentralized autonomous organizations are NFTs on an organization scale that you are selling off partial ownership of a company, a thing. It's basically stocks.
I know. I guess maybe that's why I'm also having a hard time with it, because I don't really... Like, I get the idea of stocks, but I'm not like, the reason why I'm not wanting to get into stocks all that much is because, one, I don't want to babysit it, but two, I just feel like they're way more complicated, and there's a reason for that, because, like, if you really get invested into it, you can really kind of make a killing on it, but...
You also can lose everything.
Oh, you can lose everything.
If you get into day trading, you are basically gambling.
Well, you're gambling with stocks anyways. It's just...
Yeah.
Some is more intelligent. The difference between like normal, like with day trading, yeah, you're right. You're essentially gambling, and you should be prepared to lose that money. Whereas with stocks, yes, you should be prepared to lose the money that you're putting in, but you also have like expectation at least getting some of it back,
depending on how spread it is.
Yeah. Whereas with like gambling, like day trading with gambling, like you go to the poker table or blackjack table, or whatever. Put down $20. Okay, I'm gonna go with 100 because no one does $20. Maybe some people do, but
I do.
Basically, you go there and you just expect to lose it, like you're just playing to have fun, essentially. And with people who day trade, most of the time that's not what they want to do. They don't usually want to have fun unless they're... Some people do, but most of the time you're in it to actually make money, and it's, to me, that just seems like it'd be too stressful.
Well, some people do find that fun, though.
Yeah, some people do, but that's, yeah. But, so, the non-centralized stuff, what is this?
Or the decentralized...
Yeah, the decentralized stuff, same thing.
Autonomous organizations, the DAOs.
Yeah.
They're basically stocks. You're partial owner of the thing. Now, this is about how the thing can be as big as the entire organization, as Microsoft, a piece of stock in Microsoft. It can also be as small as that perfume scent, or that song, that one song that Sony owns. I'm partial owner of that song also. Sony has allowed me to purchase a piece of that song, which also means when that song, we all agree what happens with the song. If we agree together, if we vote on this song and we go, we don't want it released.
Yeah, it'd be like a split vote.
Yeah.
They have to do.
And then if it's voted that, oh, yes, majority says sell it or release it to the public for profit. Now I own, let's say I own 1% of this song. That means I get 1% of profit of it. because I'm 1% owner of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the more of that song I bought, the bigger my investment, the larger my income of it. So, Perfume, that's actually one thing that's going on too, is that there is the scent of the metaverse. People are selling NFT or partial ownership of a scent. So everyone that buys in, these people create the scent, and then they can decide what they want to do with the scent. They can either keep it, lock it up, or sell it.
Like a perfume scent.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, it's the formula for the scent, not necessarily that they spray it once and that's the scent that they have ownership of.
It is, this
Okay.
particular make of this. Yeah, it is not.
So it's the product.
It's not this particular color of purple. Though that
But
could be
it's
totally plausible.
Well, I mean, that's a product too.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm pretty sure
And
you can patent color names.
Yeah, so scent of the metaverse, and it's Rook Perfumes that's doing it.
Rook.
Rook.
I thought they said rock. It's only one letter off.
Yeah, we actually burned through a lot of this. So, we are way over on our time.
Yeah, we're a little bit over, yeah.
Totally.
So are the DAOs different than what the NFT thing that I was talking about? Where, like, have the secondhand, like, digital sell-off thing? Secondhand market for digital items?
I can sell my piece of stock. Think of DAOs.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I get it.
as a stock share.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get it.
So
yes,
once again,
the answer is yes.
no, because the NFT
I think it's yes.
the NFT is the lease on the house.
Mm-hmm.
I have the lease on my house. There is not multiple owners. I am the sole owner of this NFT deed on this house.
Never mind. Well, I think it could still. But instead of selling partial stuff, like, you'd be selling the entire thing.
Yeah.
It'd be like selling off the company to a single entity.
True.
So I think yes.
So a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, could technically sell 100%. Microsoft could sell, cash out all its shares and say, Bill Gates is buying them all up, or whoever, and then they are the sole owner of the thing.
Goes back to IBM.
Yeah.
No.
And like I said, the thing takes what stocks are and it enlarges how much of because obviously if Sony sells a song off to this to be as a DAO, yes, Sony is the creator of it, but they're not the sole owner of this one song. But it could still fall under the Sony umbrella, which means Sony could actually have so many of these micro things, which can cause headaches eventually, because that's why the Batman, this series, I think it got on DVD finally, or digital purchase. I don't know. It never made it on VHS because there were like 5 or 6 owners of that. And when Batman the series came on the air, VHS wasn't even going to be invented for decades.
Oh.
So they had to get all these owners together and make a negotiation of who's going to make the profit. Are we allowing this to happen? And you have to get all of the owners together to do this. Because the rights were for broadcast only, nothing else.
Which is all they used to care about.
Yeah, and now and that's the other thing. Even music and certain TV shows even had that going. Like, oh, we want to release into digital format. Well, when the show was made, digital was not on the horizon at all. If there's multiple owners, have to come together
to figure out the publication rights for that.
And if they sold it early, like I think there's stuff like Seinfeld or Friends might have different digital broadcast rights versus the actual owners of it.
Yeah, like a more recent show. I think Sci-Fi had The Expanse at first.
Yeah,
but they only had the rights to the first showing.
And
since most people were not doing that. Like, because it was really hard, because I think the only way to really watch sci-fi was to have like a cable subscription of some kind, or satellite, which is cable, but whatever.
Yeah.
And most people, I think, were pirating it because that was the only way they could watch it.
Yeah.
And that they weren't... Yeah, they dropped it because of that, even though it was really popular. They weren't getting their investment out of it as much as they wanted, so they had to drop it. And I think that's why Amazon picked it up. But yeah, it happens with new shows too. Like, and I think it's like companies are starting to realize that that's not something you want to do anymore. Like, you don't want just the broadcast rights. You want at least some kind of like ongoing stuff.
Yeah.
Not just something that's temporary.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know.
All
Okay.
right.
We done?
Yes, we be done.
Okay.
You have any famous last words?
I did, but they're gone.
All right. I think I forgot my original famous last words. My new famous last words are 11 is forever. All right. I remember what it was.
Okay, what was it?
Do you know that bees communicate by dancing?
Do they?
Yeah, that's how bees are.
What are bees are?
That's how bees are.